We'll start with the prayers. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramarthanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We continue the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, called as Dhyana Yogaha. Dhyanam means meditation, and yoga means a topic. In this chapter, we have seen last week a complete analysis of how one should practice meditation. For those who are interested in the topic of meditation, this is the best chapter to begin with, because it's very, very comprehensive and it tells us a step-by-step process for doing the meditation as prescribed by the scriptures. There are many, many ways of doing the meditation. For those of you who have gone through the video or through the classes of Drigdrishya Viveka, there I have introduced the topic of meditation and also described different ways to meditate by keeping the eyes closed initially, 3 types, and later with eyes open, 3 types. 6 forms of meditations were discussed in Drigdrishya Viveka. So if you want, you can study that portion of the text. Another area where you can also learn a little bit more is my videos on meditation, which is available in the website or the YouTube. Today, what I plan to do is basically tell you a little bit more about how to meditate and give you an explanation of how an advanced meditation takes place. Usually, when we start meditation, the most easy method is to tell yourself for the next 10 minutes, I am not going to be a mother or a father or a son or a sister or an employee or an employer. I'm going to drop all these roles. I'm going to hand it over to Ishvara for the next 10 minutes. And I am going to dwell on Atma as taught in the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads. This should be the first point in meditation, which is called as Vedantic meditation. Once you have done this, the second step is to dwell on any aspect of Atma. In verse number 12 to 25 of chapter 2, I have taken almost 20 different indicators of Atma. You can take one and then dwell on it for one day. Nityaha, Atma is Nityaha, it's always there. Atma is Nirvikaraha, it is changeless. It is beyond time. Each of these features, one by one, you can bring it in your mind. This type of meditation will give us two things, two benefits. Number one, concentration of the mind towards one object. Number two, it will purify the mind, by which the mind will reduce the thoughts going into other areas of the world. These are the two main benefits. Many people, so these are the two ways. I mean, step one, hand over the roles to the Lord for 10 minutes. Step two, dwell on any aspect of Atma. At the end of 10 minutes, you can open your eyes and then start your work. If you practice this for 10 minutes a day, continuously for 2-3 months, the first realization you will have is, I am able to watch my thoughts. Many people are not aware that they have a mind, and the mind is throwing up thoughts every single second. They are not aware. This is a very subtle process which is going on in the human mind. The human mind is the greatest form of creation in the universe. I mean, the more you study the mind, the more you will see how great is that Lord who has created this universe. It's amazing watching the mind and watching the different thoughts which bubble every single second. 24 hours of the day, this happens. And it is an amazing instrument which is fitted into this body, a physical body. So this is how we generally start, and then it leads to many, many different types of meditations are taught in the Upanishads. And then after the Bhagavad Gita, we will be doing Upanishads. So at that time, I will take a little bit more time to explain the other forms of meditation. Broadly speaking, initially, people either go with a symbol for meditation to start with. They would like to take the Shaligrama. Shaligrama means it's a fossil stone which has got some pictures, and the stone is very dense. I'd say it's a heavy stone. People generally keep it at home. It has got pictures of different types of fossils. It's called Shaligrama. It is believed that this represents Lord Vishnu. So people use a Shaligrama to do puja at home, or also to meditate on Lord Vishnu, keeping that symbol. There are other forms. These type of forms, symbols which you keep for meditation, it can be a turmeric powder, where on a turmeric powder, a lump of turmeric powder, you imagine Lord Ganesha. Or in a flame, you imagine Devi. These are different types of meditations which are called as Pratika Upasana. Pratika means symbol. The second form is Pratima Upasana. Pratima means you directly visualize the Lord's form. As you can see in the picture here, Lord Vishnu with 4 hands, with a conch in one hand, and with a chakra in another hand, with a gada in one hand. So these are all different forms where you can just imagine, bring up the form in the mind, and then meditate on the Lord's compassion, on the Lord's power, and so on. Omniscient power, the Lord's power to create this entire universe, to resolve the universe, to maintain the universe. These are all the things which you can meditate. This form of meditation is called as Pratima. The first one was pratika. This is pratima, where you bring a form and meditate. A third form, a third type of meditation is a difficult meditation, and that is called as formless meditation. That is what we are going to study today. We are going to see one of the formless type of meditations, where instead of the Lord with a form, you try to meditate on the same Lord in unmanifest form or formless nature. The meditation is called as Laya Chintanam. Laya Chintanam means is a process of resolution of the world in your mind. Because this will help in making the mind single pointed. Like I said, the two benefits always you should remember is, why do I meditate? Because I can make my mind more focused. This will help me in my day-to-day activities. It will help me in understanding and analyzing any situation which I face. Therefore, I meditate. This should be the common goal for all of us when we take up an exercise for meditation. And it's an extremely gradual process. Please understand that it is not that overnight you will see results. It's a very gradual process. Even if you don't get any success, just go ahead and keep doing it. That is what Lord Krishna has said. Abhyasa in the 6th chapter, he says practice and practice. Nothing like practicing. And one day for sure it will give you the benefit. This is a promise by the Lord in the Gita. Okay, now what do we understand by resolution? When we say that this whole thing is purely based on advanced text called as Vichara Sagara, written by an author about 150 years ago, called as Nischala Dasa. This was prescribed in that text for a mediocre student who has a mediocre mind and he wants to know his own self. So the Guru teaches this form of meditation to bring and this is based on Tattva Bodha. If you go through the meditation, you'll see that it is 100% Tattva Bodha. If you remember Tattva Bodha, you'll remember this entire meditation very easily. Okay. Whenever we say resolution, it is a process in the mind. For example, first we should understand there is a cause and there is an effect. Gold is a cause, ring, bangle, chain is an effect. Water is the cause, wave, bubble, foam is the effect. Waker is the cause, the dream is an effect. For the whole waking world, which is an effect, the cause is Atma. We call it Atma or Satchit Ananda, Ishvara or Brahman. These are all different names, but there is one entity, which is pure awareness, pure consciousness. There is no world separate from this pure awareness, consciousness. This world, this pure awareness, consciousness is my real nature. This is what we studied in Tattva Bodha, the basic text, which describes the definition of Atma. This pure awareness is my real nature. And what do I see when in the waking state? What happens is, it is an effect and the cause is pure consciousness. The effect is what? I see the body, physical body, I experience the subtle mind, and I experience the gross world. And the creator has got two types of causes. The creator is called as Ishvara, or the Lord. And one aspect of the Lord is a changing material cause, which is the matter principle. And that is what we give a name and a form. For every form, we give a name. In Sanskrit, it is called as Parinami Upadana Karanam. Don't worry about the names, understand the concept. So one type of cause is a material cause which keeps on changing. That means the body is made up of 5 elements which keeps on changing every second. Then there is a pure consciousness, awareness principle, which is not changing. Whatever is not changing is changeless. And it is called as Vivarta Upadana Karana. These are all Sanskrit definitions of the one entity which is called as Ishvara, or that consciousness. So there are two causes. Whenever we look at the world, you should always remember there is a consciousness which is a changeless cause, and there is a matter which is 5 elements which is changing. So how do we resolve the world? We resolve the world. The world is resolved into a power which is called as Maya. It is a power which belongs to that pure consciousness. And what we say is that this world cannot have an independent existence. It depends on the pure consciousness, which is called as Brahman, or pure awareness. The power is called as Maya. These are all Sanskrit names which helps us to understand and meditate. So whenever we try to see this world, we should basically understand that there is this pure awareness, which is what I am in my sleep state. That pure awareness has got a power to project this entire world in the waking state. And then it resolves back again. When I go to sleep, what happens is this pure awareness resolves the whole world into itself. Our main obstacle is I am not able to distance myself, that means my awareness, from the mind. That is the main obstacle which we all face. And I need to remove this obstacle and claim that I am ever free, pure consciousness. Because that is what is my nature. That is my nature in my sleep state. And that is exactly what the Upanishads or the Bhagavad Gita is trying to teach to me as Atma. So the raw mind, which is not trained by the scriptures, or which doesn't have the knowledge of the scriptures, is stuck to this tree called as the pure consciousness, Satchidananda tree. Now we need to remove the mind away from this Atma, this pure consciousness. And the pure consciousness exists by itself. It does not require any condition to be free. It is always free. Only thing is, I don't know that that is my nature, and I keep on thinking that my body and the mind, which I experience in the waking state, is my real nature. This is called as ignorance. So when I include the mind along with the I, that is the small I, the ahamkara, when I include the I with the mind, then the mind becomes bonded. This is called as bondage. I, the pure I, includes the mind. When the same pure I excludes the mind, that is called as pure awareness or consciousness, which is what I am in sleep. The mind, when it is included, it is the waking state. The mind which is excluded is the pure consciousness, which is in the sleep state. But there in the sleep, only thing is I don't know my nature. I need to have the conviction that I am that pure consciousness and not this I with the body and mind. So resolving the world into its cause, the cause is the five elements, and the world in the waking state is Vyaktarupam. Vyaktarupam means it is in the manifested form. The five elements are in two conditions. That is what the scriptures teach us. This knowledge is given only in the Indian scriptures. Science does not go according to this logic. This is the logic of the scriptures. The five elements, the gross five elements, have got two conditions. One condition is the manifest form, where you can see the gross elements. That is the waking state. The second condition of the same five elements is the unmanifest form, which is the sleep state. And the substratum for both of this is the pure consciousness, which is called as Brahman. So when this Maya, this power, is in equilibrium, there is no creation. And when this power gets disturbed, then the creation starts. This power does not have its own existence, but it depends on the pure consciousness. And the resolution, whenever we say, it is generally, it's a cognitive resolution. That means intellectually we understand that the desk is nothing else but wood, the chain is nothing else but gold. Similarly, the world is nothing else but that pure consciousness. This is how we try to resolve in the mind. The gradual resolution of the world into its cause helps us to own up that pure consciousness as our real nature. How is this meditation done? So when you sit in meditation, the first thing you do is you close your eyes, and then now you say, I'm going to see who I am by resolving the entire world into myself. So the first is we take the gross objects and the beings and we resolve them into the five elements. For example, you have mountains, you have oceans, you have the wind. So the entire mountain is nothing else but the earth element. All the oceans are nothing else but water. All the wind is nothing else but air. Any fire element, any flame, anywhere is only one fire element. Similarly, space everywhere is just one space. So by saying that the gross body and the gross world is nothing but five elements, what I do is I resolve the entire gross universe into five gross elements. This is how it was taught in the Tattva Bodha also. That was a creation process. Now this is a dissolution process. Then the second thing is, after we have done the gross elements, now we go to the subtle elements. The subtle elements are called as Sukshma Bhuta. And the Sukshma Bhutam, the subtle elements, which means the same five elements, before they were in gross form, they were in the subtle form, which is not perceived by the sense organs. Whatever is perceived by the sense organs is the gross form of the five elements. The water which we drink, the earth which we see, that is the gross form. And in the Tattva Bodha, there was a process which was called as Panchikaranam. That means how one element mixes with the other elements. That knowledge we must remember in the seat of meditation in order to resolve the subtle elements into the causal nature. What we remember of the Tattva Bodha is the subtle element consists of 17 parts. The 5 pranas, the 5 organs of knowledge, 5 organs of action, and the Antakaranam, which is the mind and intellect. So the entire subtle products we first resolve into the subtle elements. That means elementals are resolved into the subtle elements. And then we remember one more thing, that this Maya Shakti consists of 3 gunas. It is there in the Tattva Bodha. Sattva guna, Rajo guna, and Tamo guna. Tamo guna we have already resolved in the gross elements and the gross world. Here we are resolving the subtle products like the mind, the pranas, the breath. We try to resolve into these subtle elements. The mind, if you remember, consists of the sattva guna of each of the 5 elements. All together, they constitute the sattva guna of all the 5 elements. This is a repetition of Tattva Bodha. The sattva guna, that means the sattva guna of the earth, water, fire, space, air. All this together, when you combine, you get the mind. Similarly, the Rajo guna, when you combine, you get the pranas. And then each of these indriyas, you resolve them into the respective elements. For example, our eyes are formed from the principle of fire. So in your meditation, you say, the power of my eyes I resolve into the fire element. The power of the skin I resolve into the air, because air is responsible for the touch. The fire is responsible for the form and color which we perceive. The water element is responsible for the taste in our tongue. Without the water in the tongue, there will be no taste. Similarly, the Prithvi element, the earth element, is responsible for the smell. And we can never hear anything if there was no space. So we try to resolve the organs of knowledge into their respective elements. The mind and prana we have already resolved. Then the last thing which we need to do is the karma indriyas. Karma indriya means organs of action. Again, here each of our organ is related to one element. Reproduction with water, tongue with fire, hand with air, legs with space. So all this is basically Tattva Bodha. In short, what we are doing is that we are resolving in our mind. What we say is this body and this mind is nothing else but subtle elements and gross elements. So I resolve the gross body into the gross elements. I resolve the subtle body into the subtle elements. What is left over is only the pure consciousness. Gross body, subtle body, then there is a causal body. Causal body is the unmanifest form of this entire creation. I resolve that I am the witness of the unresolved, unmanifest condition of the universe and also my own body and mind. Thereby, what happens is I become conscious of my nature in the sleep state. This is not in the sleep, but it is in the waking state. So in the waking state, I bring my own form of how I am in my sleep state. It's a form of meditation. If we can do it, it can resolve the whole universe into my mind, because that is the truth. The entire universe is resolved in something called as awareness or consciousness. So this is, in short, what this meditation is about. This can be practiced only after we have managed to get control over our sense organs and our mind. Normally, when we sit in meditation, the mind has got its own thoughts, and it keeps itself busy, and it keeps pouring out all thoughts which it has in the conscious mind, and it is not easy to cross this except by saying, I am the Sakshi. I am the witness of this mind. Once you do this for about 2 or 3 months, then you will be able to separate your mind from the pure awareness principle. Okay, I have also attached in the notes, there are other slokas or the verses which are there in the scriptures for meditation. Nirvana shatkam is one text. Vivekchudamani is another text. Jnanavalli is another text. Bhagavad Gita, of course, there is many verses. I have attached these verses here. You can read the verses and the meanings. Whichever verse appeals to you, you can use them for meditation. It is not a must. Some people like some of these texts. This Nirvana Shatkam has got this 6 verses here. You can use, many people are using it regularly for meditation because this calms the mind. You can use one verse, you can use one, but only thing which we need to keep as a goal in meditation is, for those 10 minutes, I should dwell on Atma. That's all. This is the only goal we should maintain for the 10 minutes. We can take 1, 2, you can even write down these, before you start meditating, you should say, I would like to meditate on this aspect of Atma. Okay. This will help you to sit quietly and then focus the mind. So these are 6 verses of the Nirvana Shatkam. Then in Vivekchudamani, we have these verses. I have taken the text of Vivekchudamani, and you can see some of these talks, which some verse meanings of these I have taken. It's there in the video form. These are beautiful verses, again, which talk about Atma and the features of Atma. And then we have one verse which is from Brahma Jnanavalli, Asangoham Asongoham. That means Atma, as Atma, I am unattached to the gross body, unattached to the subtle body, unattached to the causal body. This is the thought we should have in the meditation. I am that pure consciousness, awareness principle, which is without any connection with all these bodies. It is through this body only I experience the world. The moment the mind is awake, it energizes the sense organs, and the sense organs, they perceive the world. But I, the Atma, am unconnected with this entire universe eternally, not only this minute. I mean, even when my mind is perceiving the world as Atma, I am unattached. This is the type of meditation which leads to freedom. It leads to freedom from the attachment to our mind. It is purely a knowledge, but it is a knowledge which you are dwelling on in the seat of meditation. Then the next, what I have taken is Bhagavad Gita. The chapter 2, I keep on repeating this so many times, from verse number 12 to verse number 25. All these verses are here. You can go through them, 12 to 25 of chapter 2. Chapter 4, this verse is an extremely popular verse. I have taken in the summary video, in the summary portion when I discussed chapter 4. Then chapter 5, this particular verse, I have taken this. And so these are the verses which are from the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 5, the 14th verse. All these verses, if you can first, what you can do is you can just read these verses and the meanings. Let the meanings sink into your mind. Once it sinks into the mind, then you can start meditating. With that, I close chapter 6 discussion, which is called as Dhyana Yoga. And with this, we finish the first shatkam, which means chapter 1 to 6 of the Bhagavad Gita. Now we start chapter 7. But before we start chapter 7, I want to give you this chart again, which I had presented at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. At every shatkam, I will repeat the same chart again and again, because then shatkam means section. So the 3 sections of the Bhagavad Gita are the first section, which deals from chapter 1 to 6. And then the second section is from chapter 7 to 12. Third section is chapter 13 to 18. In brief, how is this all related? That is what is being explained here. The first section deals with the jiva. Jiva means what? I, the consciousness present in this body, is called as the jiva. And my primary attachment in this body is with the mind. I also have a nature of mind which is not attached. That nature is the formless nature of pure consciousness when I am asleep. So I have 2 conditions. One, when I am attached to the body and the mind, which is called as vachyartha. That means it is the direct meaning of the word I. I also have another form, which is the unmanifest form, that is the formless nature, which is called as Atma. When I say I am Atma, that definition of mine is called as indicative meaning of I. In Sanskrit, it is called as lakshyartha. When I use I can use it and say I am Atma, or I can say I am Uma, I am Rohit, I am A, B, C, D. You can give a name. That name indicates a form. It can be a male, it can be a female, it can be short, it can be tall, it can be 25 years old, it can be, it's all body. And anything connected with the mind is your profession, your the wealth which you have. All this is connected to the direct meaning of I, which is the Vachyartha. So the first 6 sections are talking about this jiva which is in the body, and in the second chapter we have seen that this jiva consists of Atma and Anatma. Atma means the Lakshyartha, the indicative meaning, the formless nature of this jiva, the soul. That is what is our goal. First, to realize that I am not the body and mind, I am the formless Atma. How do I do that? I learn to do that by purifying my mind, because my mind is today clogged up. It is got obstacles to receive this knowledge and to claim this knowledge. And what are the obstacles to receive this knowledge? Because my mind is extremely restless. Therefore, I am not able to focus and understand the formless nature. This is what we are trying to do, purifying the mind, quietening the mind by the process of Karma Yoga, which was taught in the chapter 3, 4, and 5. And in the 6th chapter, it helped me to meditate and to make my mind focused, concentrated, and to make my mind at peace. With this peaceful mind, this becomes a ready instrument to get this knowledge of Atma. This is what Lord Krishna has done in the first 6 chapters. In the second 6 chapters, the Lord is here. Lord Krishna is introducing what is the nature of the creator of this universe. So the first portion was called as Tvam. Tvam means the Jiva. Analysis of the indweller of the body. In the second section, we are going to see there is an indweller in the entire universe, including my body. That is called as the Lord. That is called as the Ishvara. It is also given the name of Paramatma. These are all Sanskrit names. For those who are not familiar, don't worry about it. Basically, we must understand the concept and understand to claim I am that formless nature. So whenever the scriptures, they try to analyze and try to teach me who I am, first they analyze me who is dwelling in this body. Then what they are trying to say is they try to teach what is this whole universe, because my knowledge will not be complete if I only know myself. I must know what is this entire universe is all about. So there, the Bhagavad Gita introduces a creator of this entire universe. And that pure consciousness appears as the entire universe also, like it appears as this body and mind. This is what we should understand. Whenever we talk about creator, Ishvara, God and all that, when we come to philosophy, we must understand that the creator is nothing else but in a different form, it appears as this whole universe. So the creator has got a formed nature, which is the whole universe, and it has got a formless nature, which is the pure nature. I am a microcosm, an individual. I have a formed nature as a part of this creation. I have a formless nature. So in the 7th to 12th chapter, we are going to study this entire creator, how he is, what is his form, like we did Atma and Anatma in the second chapter. We are going to do a similar analysis for this whole creator or the whole creation. What is the Atma portion, which is called as which is called in different name here, para prakriti and apara prakriti. We will get into the details once we start the 7th chapter. So at this point of time, we have to have this macro view that there is a microcosmic nature, which is the individual body and soul, individual body and mind and soul, a macrocosmic nature, which is the total gross body of the entire universe, the gross mind of the entire universe. And there is an indweller. That indweller is called as the Lord, the Ishvara. Now, Ishvara with form is the manifested form, is the manifested world. That is called as the direct meaning of this Ishvara. Ishvara means God. God means a creator of this entire universe. So the direct meaning is the world. Indirect meaning is the pure awareness. Because without that, that is the substratum on which the whole universe is coming and going, according to the scriptures. And then the last section, that is from chapter 13 to 18, is we are going to unite the jiva, that is the formless nature of the jiva, with the formless nature of the Ishvara, and then say there is only one entity which is there as pure consciousness in this entire universe. And I must realize that I am that pure awareness consciousness. That portion is discussed from chapter 13 to 18. The same chart I will present when we start chapter 13, so that you have a broad map. If somebody asks you what is there in the Bhagavad Gita, if you can explain to them in very simple words, in your own words, this chart, that is what is the essence. With this, we try to enter into the 7th chapter. It is called as Jnana Vigyana Yogaha. I will explain to you what is Jnanam and what is Vijnanam. Jnanam, this chapter consists of 30 verses and is basically has got 3 topics. First, I will tell you what is the meaning of Jnanam and Vijnanam. These are technical names which mean specific things in this chapter. Jnanam means it is the nature of the Lord with form. And it is also called as apara prakriti. This is a technical name in Sanskrit. It means the same. This will be this particular we should try to understand these 2 words, apara prakriti and para prakriti. These are 2 technical names. As we go through this, you will understand very clearly. These are only names, but it's very simple. The entire spiritual study goes into so many details, but when it comes to ourselves, when we try to understand this in ourselves, it's extremely easy, because it all boils down to one pure entity, which is that Atma. So here, the Lord with form is called as Apara Prakriti, and the Lord without the form is called as Para Prakriti. Prakriti means nature, and Apara means it is manifest form, and Para Prakriti means unmanifest form. And what is the difference between, why do we call it manifest and unmanifest? Anything which is perceived by the sense organs, it is called as manifest form. I see the world, I hear the sound, I can feel the touch, I can smell the world. These are all the manifest form, and it is called as apara. Para means higher, apara means lower. The lower form of the Lord, the higher form of the Lord. In this, when we take the form of the Lord as for worship, like I said in the last meditation, you take the Lord with form, in Vishnu form, Shiva form, Devi form, and so on, then it is called as, it is a sadhyam, it is a goal. One thing we should remember is that this world is an appearance of one principle, which is the formless nature. This is the bottom line. If you can keep this one thought, this whole universe, when somebody asks you, where is God? Can you show me God? The problem is we cannot show God because the whole world is God. And it is His form, which we are perceiving all throughout the life. And there is another form, another formless nature, that is what is the real form. So when we dissolve the Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara into a formless nature, which is what is called as the Lakshyartha, now you can understand the meanings, that is called as Vijnanam. So when we are talking about the formless nature, it is called as Vijnanam. When we are talking of the Lord with form, it is Jnanam. So Jnana Vigyana Yoga, that means the Lord with form and the Lord without form. That is the topic going to be discussed in the 7th chapter. When I realize my formless nature, I will also realize God with formless nature. There is a creator of this body who is also formless. I, the Jiva, who is the indweller in this body, is also formless. When I am able to see cognitively in my own intellect the formless nature of mine, I can say this formless nature and that formless nature is the one entity. This is how the Lord Krishna in the 7th chapter wants to teach us His form, and how by knowing His form in the 7th to 12th chapter, we can then, our mind will be ready for the oneness of the formless nature, which comes in the 3rd section. Whenever we are, for example, whenever we are fond of our own dress or the wealth we possess, the houses we possess, education I possess, the hairstyle I have, then the same thing we also try to see in others also. This is a natural tendency. We see the other's dress, we see the other's hairstyle. So what I want to say here is, if I know I have a formless nature and I learn to see my own formless nature, then I will be able to see the formless nature of the entire universe also. Three topics are discussed here. The first one is Ishvara Anugraha. Anugraha means grace, which is from verse 1 to 3. Ishvara Svarupam, that means the nature of the Lord, from verse 4 to 12. And then, how do I realize this nature? That is what is described from verse 13 to 30. That is bhakti. Bhakti means devotion. Devotion to that formless nature or the formed nature. Always we go from formed nature to formless. We cannot jump straight from into the formless nature because our mind is not ready. Most of the effort which we have to put is in the form of purifying and making our mind ready for the knowledge. That is the maximum effort which we put in the Bhagavad Gita also. The Karma Yoga chapter 3, 4, 5, in the Lord described the Atma only in verses from 12 to 25. But then he has put in so many verses to train the mind. Similarly, in the second section also, the Lord's nature, the formless nature, the real nature will be explained in a few verses. But then many chapters, chapter 10 and 11, are purely again meditative chapters to train the mind to see the entire totality in one formless nature. In the sixth chapter, in verse number 5, Uddharet Atman Atmanam Atmanam Avasadayet. I had Atmaiva Atmana Bandhuhu Atmaiva Ripur Atmanaha. This is what Lord Krishna had said. He had said, each one of us must lift ourselves. That means we have to put effort to purify our mind. So the effort was emphasized. Prayatna was emphasized in the sixth chapter. In the seventh chapter, in the first verse, now here the Lord is saying, Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjanna madashriyaha asamshayam samagramam yatha jnasasi tachruno. Now he says, you keep your mind focused on me. Now that you have practiced the yoga of meditation, you take refuge in me, the pure consciousness, and without any doubt, you will reach me. And he says, Shrunu. Shrunu means listen. Whenever the Lord says Shrunu in the Bhagavad Gita, means he wants us to pay extra attention. What he says is that I am finally the goal, and I will bless you with this knowledge so that you can reach me, the formless nature. Anugraha means it's a grace of the Lord. It's a grace through his teaching. You take shelter in me and proceed for moksha. Moksha means freedom. I want freedom from the tyrannies of my mind. My mind is just is throwing tantrums the whole day. It makes me jump from one activity to another activity to the third activity and continuously throughout the life. The mind is a problem for us, and we want to learn, how do I get liberation from my own mind? The two wheels of a cart are both important, the front wheel and the back wheel. The front wheel is the prayatna part. I put my effort. Then the back wheel is Ishvara. He is always supporting me. That Ishvara means, see, when I say supporting, this body itself, which is made of 5 elements, there is nothing I can say is mine, because the whole functioning of the body is through the breath. If the breath stops for 1 second, the body cannot act. And who is controller of this breath? There is one controller, which will keep the body alive for a certain amount of time. That grace, that is the grace we are talking about, who will keep this body alive, and he will give me the knowledge, and he will push me from behind and say, come on, get this knowledge, come and reach me through knowledge. This whole process is only a cognitive, intellectual process of understanding that there is something in this me which is the formless nature. And through the study, I learn to claim that as my real nature. Sarva Antaryami is the Svarupam, your Svarupam. And what it means is, I, the pure consciousness, am not different from you. What is the nature of this creator? That is what is the second topic. And whenever we say the nature, we always talk about what is the cause. Because the nature, we can know, nature is basically the cause of this universe. And God's definition is what? God is defined as the cause of the universe. Jagat Karanam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad beautifully says, very, very beautiful verse. You can meditate on this verse also. Very powerful verse. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat pravanti bi savishanti, tad vijnasat va tad brahmeti, satopo tapyata, satapat taptya. What it means is, this world, this one pure consciousness is from where the beings are born every day, every minute of the day. That by which they have been born, then they have to live and continue to exist. That means the Lord, pure consciousness, is the place from where the entire world of beings is born from. They are sustained by the same power of consciousness, and when they resolve back after departing from the world. They enter to the same Brahman. Brahman here means the pure consciousness. This is a very important verse from the Taittiriya Upanishad to know our real nature. Where did I come from? Many seekers, almost every seeker has this question. What was my nature before this body was born? What will be my nature when the body is gone? This is being answered in this beautiful verse of Taittiriya Upanishad. It says very clearly, pure consciousness is from where we have come into this body. How? In sleep state, we are out of this body, we are one with this pure consciousness. Next day morning, we enter this body again as a reflection in the mind, and again we come into the body. Again, when we go to sleep, the reflection goes back to the original pure consciousness awareness. This is how the Upanishads explain to us our nature. Very deep meaning in this verse of Taittiriya Upanishad. We will take it up after the Bhagavad Gita. We'll be doing some of these Upanishads. You'll learn. That is where the real nature of the Jiva is explained. The Bhagavad Gita is an essence. It is the essence of the Upanishads. It will teach us the same thing which is in the Upanishads, but in a simpler way. The Brahma Sutra, the first Brahma Sutra is a text which is done usually after the Upanishads. The first verse or the first sutra, Janma Dasya Yataha. Janmadasyasya yataha. This is the first verse in the Brahma Sutra. It says that Brahman from which this entire universe takes birth, you must inquire into. Bhagavatam, another beautiful text, also has a similar meaning of this pure consciousness. You can go through this verse, it's a similar one. I meditate on the truth principle, that absolute truth, pure consciousness. This is the first verse of the Bhagavatam. First chapter, first verse, and it talks about Lord Krishna as the ultimate truth of this entire universe. And the basic thing always we must remember is, I am not the creator of the universe. There is another power, which is the Lord, which we call it Lord. We call it Lord Krishna, we call it anything. We can, name is not important, but the concept is important. Because through this understanding of these concepts, I learn to claim my real nature. What type of cause is this Ishvara? Again, we must know there is a material cause and there is a instrumental cause, and there is a for example, if you take a pot, there is a pot maker and there is material called the clay. So the pot maker is called as the nimitta karanam, intelligent cause. Material cause, the pot, the clay is called as the material cause, upadana karanam. In the case of a cloth, cotton is the material and the weaver is the intelligent cause. In the case of ornament and gold is the material cause. The goldsmith is the intelligent cause who makes the ornaments. Now, similarly, wood and bricks and wall and so on, we can take many examples. Normally, in the world, we'll find that the material is different than the intelligent cause. That means the creator is different than the material by which he is creating. But in the case of God, material is also the Lord, which is the five elements, which belongs to him. And the intelligent cause is also him. He is the intelligent cause, nimitta karanam, and he is the material cause, upadana karanam. Material cause and the intelligent cause, is there an example in this universe which we can say, yes, both of them are there in one? Spider is the example which is quoted in Mundaka Upanishad. A spider web comes from its stomach. That means when you see the spider web somewhere in the walls, the entire web is created out of the saliva which comes from the spider. And who is the intelligent cause? Who is making it? The spider itself makes it. So the spider is a great example where we can say the maker and the material is the same. Similarly, Lord is the maker of this world, and he is also the material by which he creates this world. We'll go a little bit deeper into the cause of the world, how the world is created. We have seen that there are two types of causes. One is a changeless cause, and the second is changing cause. The changeless cause is called as, in Sanskrit, is called as vivarta upadana karanam, like the gold, which is changeless. Then parinami karanam means it is a changing cause, material. And the instrumental cause, in the case of a weaver, the wheel by which he is making the thread is called as the instrumental cause. In the case of the world, we say that reflected consciousness is the instrument by which the Lord creates the world. Many a times I have used this concept called as original consciousness and reflected consciousness. So whenever we wake up in the morning, that consciousness which is pure, which is our real nature, which is the nature of the Lord also, that nature of the Lord gets reflected in my mind. That is the first thing which happens when we wake up. So that is called as the instrumental cause. And whenever we are looking at the world, we have two types of visions: the macro vision and the micro vision. In the macro also, we have seen there is a vyavaharika, that means there is a what we see through our eyes, which is the formed nature. So in macro, there is a formed, in macro, there is a formless. Formless is called as paramarthika, formed is called as vyavaharika. That means transactional. So I can look at the vision and say from a transactional viewpoint, or I can look at the vision from the absolute standpoint, which is the formless nature. When I learn to look at myself also, I can look at myself as the body and mind in a transactional form, or I can look at myself as the pure consciousness, which is the absolute form. These are the two visions we can have. What here they teach us is to have a vision of the absolute nature. That is what we will see when we come to chapter 13. This is what I was giving you an example of, that spider which is given in the Mundaka Upanishad. As the spider projects and withdraws unto itself the web, as the herbs and plants sprout out from the earth, as hairs go from the head and the body of man, so also the imperishable being comes out as the universe. This is a very beautiful example to keep in mind how from one pure consciousness, this entire world of sentient objects, insentient objects, and sentient beings, how they both come about. That from where they come about, that is called as Ishvara. That is called as the nature of Lord, because that is called as Satchidananda, or pure consciousness. What is the nature of this Lord? The womb of creation, which is the main topic in this text. It is the lower nature is called as Maya or Apara Prakriti. Prakriti means nature. Apara means lower. Para means absolute, higher. Prakriti means nature. So the higher nature of the Lord and the lower nature of the Lord. The same thing will be taught to us with different names in 13th chapter. So in the 13th chapter, when I come, I will ask you to remember this 7th chapter, Apara and Para. And most important thing you should remember is Apara Prakriti is an evolving thing. It is matter, the 5 elements. And Para means it is the changeless consciousness. The verse number 4, which I have put here below, earth, water, fire, these are my eightfold Prakriti. Prakriti means these are the 5 elements: the mind, the intelligence, and the ego. The Lord says that it is His Maya. Maya here refers to nature, Prakriti. So similarly, our body, mind, and body and the gross bodies are all nothing else but the 5 elements. Very simple. 5 elements are constituting my body as well as the entire gross universe. Similarly, what is a consciousness? The para prakriti. Para prakriti is described in the verse 5 and 6. That principle is the consciousness principle. Very important factor is it is never changing, but it is always changeless. It is the life principle. That is one principle from which the entire universe is coming, entire universe is resolving. With reference to the body, we say the breath is the life principle. But in spirituality, when we come in, we say pure consciousness is the life principle for the entire universe and including this body. And it is this pure consciousness which holds this entire body of 5 elements, like the space which holds the entire universe. One space holds the universe. Similarly, one pure consciousness holds this entire world of 5 elements. So verse 5 and verse 6 describe the womb of creation. The whole universe is being explained up to verse number 1 to 6. Then comes the description of Maya. This description, I will take it next week. So we'll start next week with this 7th chapter with the analysis of what is Maya. Maya is another name for nature. And what is this nature? We'll see next week. With this, I close today's session. And if you have any questions, you can ask after the closing prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. There are no questions in the chat. I will open up the discussions now for a direct question. If you have, you can ask me directly, or you can put in the chat board. I can try to answer. If there are any questions on meditation, you can ask me now, because if you have any practical problems in meditation, many people have already come back to me on the phone. After last week's session, I've had several phone calls from people who are, who are doing different types of meditation, and they had some doubts which I have answered directly. Any questions on today's presentations of the chapter 7 or meditation? Shanmugam, can you open up the entire people for asking questions? Does anybody have a question?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know, can you say meditation and manan is the same thing?
Meditation and manana.
And reflection and meditation is the same thing?
Yes, it is the same. You see, when we dwell on the nature of Atma, it is also called as reflection. And mananam and meditation, at this level you can take it as same, but dhyanam also means another it has got another meaning which is called as nididhyasanam. In nididhyasanam, what you do is you try to remove the notion that I am this body, I am this mind. You remove it, and what you say is in that is called as uh, nididhyasana. That means either when you are sitting and with closed eyes, you can do two things. Number one, you can dwell on the nature of the Lord, and that is called as meditation. Or you can say that I am not this, I am not this, and that is called as also dhyanam, also meditation. There are two forms.
No, like I want to know, now I'm memorizing some Gita shlokas, and when I sit for meditation, I'm pondering on the meaning. I'm trying to bring them to my memory without the book in front of me. So is that meditation or is it only reflection?
Okay, very good question, Chandralekha. What I here, uh, when you try to bring into memory the verse of the Bhagavad Gita, suppose you just remember all the entire verses of say 5 verses, 10 verses. If you are trying to remember the verse only, that is called as bringing the memory of the verses. That is a lower form of meditation. That means you are seeing, you are trying to repeat it in your mind. But that is a very good, because it will help you to control the mind, and then it will take you to the next stage.
No, but I'm trying to understand the meaning. I'm
Yes,
understanding the meaning also when I'm memorizing.
very good. If you can understand the meaning of the verses, that is a tremendous achievement in meditation.
So when I reflect on a shloka, the meaning also comes to my mind.
Yes, that's very, very good. That is extremely good. When you try to remember the meaning of the shlokas in your meditation, that is called as reflection. That is the perfect name called for that is reflection. You're reflecting on the meaning of the words. And that is extremely good. If you're able to do it, you are an extremely advanced seeker. You have crossed over the obstacles which normally a person will have. And I mean, this is God's grace. You have gone up to this stage of your spiritual journey.
With the blessings of gurus like you.
No, not me. I mean, there are. You have had several gurus like Paramacharya with you, so it is his blessings. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Lakshmi has got a question. I don't know what it means. Does meditation here means dwelling upon Brahman? So in pranayama, what to do? Oh, pranayama is a different matter. Meditation, if you're dwelling on the nature of Brahman, that is called as meditation. There is no doubt about it. In pranayama, what to do? Okay, that is the second part of the question. In pranayama, this is an exercise where you control the breath. That means you take air from one nostril, hold, again breathe out through the other nostril. Now, what I'm teaching you right now is just a simple, this is what is called as pranayama. Pranayama means inhale from one, hold, exhale from the other. Usually the inhalation and exhalation is the exhalation is a slow process of is a slow process. The count is, suppose you inhale for 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, inhalation. Then you hold for say 2 counts or 3 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you exhale for 2 times that count. That means inhalation is for 4 counts, exhalation is for 8 counts. So that is what is called as pranayama. But there are advanced techniques in pranayama for which you have to go through hatha yoga practices. If you go to a yoga teacher, he can teach you very easily some simple pranayams which you can control. It is a yogic exercise of breathing, and it can be easily taught. You can go to any yoga teacher who is well versed in pranayama techniques. So there are 5 or 6 pranayama techniques. There are many yogic teachers also in this group. They are teaching yoga. Santiago Pinto from Brazil, he is a yoga teacher, and many other people in this group are also yoga practitioners. So Lakshmi, my advice to you would be, if you are really keen on it, you can go and learn from a yoga teacher in Chennai, from or in wherever you are situated. Balashankar Iyer, he's saying, is there, sorry, is there anything from Lakshmi here?
No, sir, I heard actually. I understood what he said.
Okay.
Actually, what I was asking is like for meditation. No, meditation, we are dwelling upon Brahman. So, in the same pranayama process, what should we think about the Brahman itself, or just concentrate on the breathing process? That's what I want to know.
No. Okay. That's a good question. See, initially, if you go through my meditation videos in the YouTube or in the link which I have sent to you, you will find that breathing is just a beginning. You observe your breath just to control your mind initially at the start of meditation. So after you say sit down in meditation, initially the first 1 minute, you only focus on the breath at the tip of the nose, from where the inhalation is coming and where the exhalation is going out. So this is only for 1 minute or 2 minutes in the initial stages to have a control of the mind. The moment you focus on the breath, on the prana which is going in and out, initially itself, it will help you to calm the mind. And then you start bringing in the topic of Atma.
Okay. This is where I had a doubt, sir.
Yeah,
the last part which you said, no? Okay.
Yeah, you're clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shekhar sir.
Yes?
My name is Balashankar. I have given my question.
Yeah.
Actually, when you start meditation, initially for a few minutes, you will be concentrating on the breathing.
Yes.
Afterwards, your concentration will go from breathing to somewhere else.
Correct.
Time is extended. Meditation time is extended.
Yeah.
Is felt that after some time, maybe 15 or 20 minutes also, your breathing normally stops. Breathing completely stops. It comes to that extent.
Yes.
People advise the meditation time should not extend beyond some duration. Is it so?
Okay. Okay. I got your question. The direct answer to your question, whether we should meditate for 45 minutes, 30 minutes, all this, my advice would be to restrict the meditation for 20 minutes at a time.
Good.
Okay, so don't go beyond 20 minutes initially, and see the effect of how the maximum 20. If you are a beginner, 10 minutes. If you are slowly advanced, then go to 15 and 20. Maximum 20, and please get up after 20 minutes. If necessary, put an alarm and get up. So my advice would be maximum 20 minutes of meditation. Initial beginners, only 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. If you are a beginner, that means you have not done meditation at all in your life, 10 minutes. If you have done meditation, you would like to still continue the meditation, but what you should do is refine your meditation process as you go along. Try to bring the thought of Atma, initially the thoughts of Atma, and then later on the meditation should be Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that pure consciousness. That is the advanced level of meditation. Maximum time for that is 20 minutes. It's very, very difficult for people to reach that level, but initially we can, like I said, you can even go into the Sakshi Bhava. Sakshi Bhava means what?
Witness.
Yeah, I am a witness of my thoughts. I am a witness of my thoughts. This is a beautiful meditation for beginners. I am a witness of all my thoughts. Let any thought come, I don't care. Again and again, remember in the seat of meditation, I am the witness. I am the witness. I am the witness. When you say this, it is the truth. It is a fact which you are repeating. It is a fact of your own nature which you are repeating. It is a fact which you didn't know before. And the more you repeat this, the more you will be control of the mind.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is an extremely important exercise in meditation, to say I am the witness, and don't focus on the thoughts. Let thoughts come, go. Don't get carried away. Don't try to perpetuate a thought. And again and again, like Lord Krishna says, that again and again, bring back the mind to Atma. Bring back the mind to Atma means the witness.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else has any other question?
Yeah, I do have a question, Shekhar.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Yes, somehow what happens is we are at this moment a reflected consciousness of the original consciousness. And if we somehow resolve that we understand that we are the unmanifested consciousness, how can it be while we are manifested? Because if we perceive that we are the unmanifested, then we will become unmanifested, but we are manifested.
Okay.
So it's, I understand my questions have to do with the fact that, that I haven't resolved the issue, of course, but how can we resolve to the unmanifested if we are still manifested?
Okay, a very good question. It's a deep question. Yeah, Santiago, the answer to this is like this. The first thing we should get to know and have this knowledge is I am beyond manifest and unmanifest. Okay, and I am beyond means this is what the Upanishads they teach us. Even the Bhagavad Gita in the 15th chapter, when we come, it will tell us that we are beyond our manifest and unmanifest states. The states belong to the mind. It does not belong to me, the consciousness, the witness of the states. I am the witness of the states of the mind, which is manifest, which is unmanifest. The consciousness itself doesn't have a state of its own. We only say with reference to the states of the manifested mind, we say I am also manifested. Similarly, the mind becomes unmanifest in sleep. In the sleep state, the mind becomes unmanifest. So when I'm linked to that unmanifest state, I say I am also unmanifest. But the real nature is I am that pure consciousness. It doesn't have any states at all. It is beyond the mind. It is beyond the body. It is beyond the universe. The body, mind, and the universe is made up of matter. They are all seen. They are all drishyam. They are all seen objects. I am the seer, pure consciousness. So I am that nature of my consciousness never changes. Even in the sleep state, there is a thought in the mind which says, I don't know anything. That is a thought of the mind. That means that there is a thought which says, I am not conscious of anything. It is a thought of ignorance in the mind. That ignorance is also witnessed by the consciousness. The consciousness witnesses the ignorant state of the mind in sleep. The consciousness witnesses the wakeful state of the mind. I am the pure consciousness. I have no form. This form I see is only an appearance. But my real nature is that pure nature. Once I claim that as my nature, that is called as moksha, or it's called as liberation. And this is a knowledge. First, I understand this as a knowledge coming in from the scriptures. I hear it first. Then I contemplate on this knowledge. And then it becomes very deeply ingrained in me. And that is called as the final. When it goes into the subconscious mind, then you will never ask this question. You will never have this doubt that you are the body or mind. You will always say, I am that pure consciousness, because it has already gone into your subconscious mind. So first time I'm listening, this is called as Shravanam. But then in meditation, slowly you have to bring this thought again and again, that what I perceive in the world is a manifested mind. What I don't perceive in the sleep state is the unmanifest state of that mind. And mind is what? Mind is only a subtle matter. It is made up of the 5 elements. So once I understand this concept clearly, and then I keep listening to the same subject again and again, this subject in me becomes more evident to me. And this will really happen because this is how thousands of people who have got liberated from their minds. It's not one. You and I are not the first people to read the scriptures and become free. Throughout the ages, throughout this knowledge is very, very ancient knowledge, and millions of people who have gone through this knowledge have got liberation from their mind and the body, and it happens. So we go with the faith that this is the truth. I am going with the truth, whatever exists in this world, about myself, about the world, as per the scriptures. And this, when it becomes the truth for me, then there is no other proof required. And it happens through the mind only. It is the same mind will tell you, Santiago, you are not the body or the mind, you are the pure awareness consciousness. It is the same mind. Today it is saying, I am the mind, and then you get attached to the mind, and then you carry on so many actions. So is it clear, Santiago?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bhama, you had a question? Yeah, do you have a question, Bhama? Shanmugam, can you unmute her? Bhama Narasim, the first one on the left. Yeah, Bhama, can you unmute yourself, or you're not able to speak?
Yes, I did it.
Yeah, I got it. I can hear you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the best time to meditate. I am a beginner.
Okay, if you're a beginner, the best time to meditate is the morning, whenever you feel you have taken a bath in the morning.
Time, please?
Any time in the morning, the best time they say is before sunrise if possible.
Okay, thanks.
So 10 minutes before sunrise, if you can sit down in front of any place which is comfortable to you, you can meditate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Very good, very good. Anybody else has any other question?
Yes. Sir, yes.
Yeah.
So as a bhakta,
Yes.
how we can meditate means?
Okay, as a bhakta is very easy because you can follow the Bhagavad Gita. So many verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita. The first way you can meditate as a bhakta is you see, as a bhakta, you have already got a relationship built up in your mind with some prince, with some God. You have some form of God in your mind, and you are saying you are a bhakta means you are a bhakta of some Lord. And what you can then do is you can start a conversation with the Lord of your form, and start a conversation as if you're speaking to God and say, Lord, I want you to help me in my spiritual path, because you can establish a direct link and you can start speaking to that Lord. And the more you are in conversation with that form of yours, that form will lift you up. This is a promise of the of the Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, you come, you fix your mind on me, and I will take you up. So as a bhakta, the best form of meditation is chapter 10 and chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. The chapter 10 and 11, when we do it, what it says is, you see the whole form of the Lord in the whole world in the form of one Lord. That is chapter chapter 11. Chapter 10 says, from that one form you see all the vibhutis. That means whatever you see in the mind, as whatever form comes in the mind, you keep on glorifying the vibhutis of the Lord in your mind in meditation. Oh Lord, you are the power of speech. How can I speak without your power? Oh Lord, you are the power behind my mind. My mind has got memory, it's got thinking ability. That is your power. Similarly, my prana is going in my body. That prana belongs to you because you are the power behind this prana. So anything you can take about your own body, mind, or of the world, that becomes the meditation for you because you are a bhakta. Bhakta means you strongly believe there is a Lord with form. That same Lord with form will take you to the formless. Because the mind will tell you now you're ready for the absolute nature of the Lord, which is what taught in the chapter 13, 14, and 15 of the Bhagavad Gita. When you learn the 3 chapters, you will learn how to see the same Lord in a formless nature. So does it answer, Akshay? Have you been able to understand?
Yes, very great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else has any other question?
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Santiago.
I do have a question, but I'm afraid that it's related to yoga, so it may go a little bit
You
away.
tell me. Go ahead. You can ask me.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, and because that's where I've been studying mostly, and I know that we've been talking about the yoga being Dvaita and not Advaita, but if we go and understand that the indwelling consciousness can be referred as Svarupam, the 3rd verse of the Yoga Sutra say Tadadrashtu Svarupa Avastanan, which means that at the very end the yoga will also resolve into that formless form, which is defined as Svarupa, but in fact is pointing to some kind of formless form. Doesn't it mean that through yoga we reach the same state anyway? Do we need Vedanta? Can I just work with the yoga?
Yeah, if the yoga says that you reach the formless nature, and that formless nature is your real nature, and it is not Dvaitam, then it is the same as what Vedanta is teaching. Suppose you say that I am there as formless, and the world is also there as formless, and I am seeing the world which is formless, then it is Dvaitam. See, there should not be two. The moment you say two, then that is where Shankaracharya, the Vedantic scholar, he says that I disagree with the yoga philosophy if they are talking about Dvaitam. If they are talking about only one consciousness, which is the substratum for the entire universe, then it is Advaitam. It is non-dual, and then you can get freedom of the mind. That means you will be free from the bondage to your own mind, because there is only one truth. But the moment you say yes, there is, you see, this is what Sankhya or you in the Dvaita philosophy, what they say is that Jiva is also there, it is also Satyam. Jiva is Satyam, it is an independently existing principle. The universe is also an independently existing principle. This is what is called as Dvaitam. That means, whereas Vedanta says that that pure consciousness is the only independently existing principle, and the world is a dependent principle. That means the Jiva, the Jagat, the Ishvara, all three are dependent on this pure consciousness. This is what is called as Advaitam, non-dual. In this non-duality, what happens is that individuality, which you as Santiago, with me as Shekhar, with Uma, with Paulina, with everybody, that individuality is gone. The individuality comes only when I identify with either the gross body or with the mind. The moment this is called as attachment detachment. When I attach to the body and the mind, I become a Dvaitin. That means I am separate, but this in the waking state, we have to do this attachment for all our transactions. But in truth, we should understand that I am detached. I am that only one pure consciousness. All this body, mind, which I'm seeing is like an appearance, is only a lower state for transaction purpose only. But the real nature of this whole universe is that pure consciousness. When I understand this, then I will be free from the bondage of mind. This gives the ultimate freedom to all of us. So does it make sense now?
It does, yes. And I think that one thing that defines the yoga maybe as Dwight is because they talk about one Purusha and many Purushas.
Yes.
That are sort of correct. Independent of the big Purusha. Okay. Yeah. Yes. I need to reflect more on this. Thank you very much, Shekhar.
Okay. Okay. So if there are no other questions, then anybody else has any question?
Shekharji,
Yes.
In meditation, we meditate on the divine light.
Yes.
And there are some gurus who can say that we can even meditate between the two eyebrows.
Yes.
For meditation. Are they both the same?
Okay. Okay, there is a good question. Baobai's question is two things. There are some people who say you meditate between the eyebrow, that is one. It is also mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita in one of the verses. It says that you meditate between the eyebrows. Okay. Now, this is for a beginner, extremely, at a very, very beginning stages. This is only as a step to draw your mind from an external object to the internal, taking the mind internal. This step is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita to take the mind internal. That this is number one about the breath. The second aspect you are asking is about the light. Now, in many meditations, they say that you meditate in the form of light. This is again this is only for a beginner. It is not for ultimately. It is not the end of meditation. This is only to say that you focus on the light initially, but this is only at the initial stage, not the ultimate. Light, again, when you focus on a light, it means you are taking the light as an object. And then you're trying to bring some sort of a light inside. Many people get lost in this light meditation. I will recommend you don't try it if you have not tried it. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't come, don't stress yourself that I can't see any light in my meditation, because many people have got headaches because of this light. They keep on expecting some sort of a light, and then they don't get it, and they feel frustrated, and then they have all types of problems. So my suggestion to you, Bhava, is just let the mind drop these ideas. Initially, if you can do it, is fine. But later on, just drop these ideas. Just say, I am a witness of all the things which are going on in my mind. The mind will throw a lot of things in the meditation. A lot of people will realize so many different things. But ultimately, you must learn to say, this mind is not me. This mind is a Maya. It belongs to the 5 elements. That's all. The moment you are able to learn to say this, because this is what the Bhagavad Gita finally teaches us. It says, mind is subtle body. And it will have its problems. It has got 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, which I will teach in the 14th chapter, a beautiful chapter. That is the liberation chapter for the Bhagavad Gita. It will tell us to drop this mind and be a sakshi. Okay.
So we are having this light as an object only.
Yeah, these are just objects. Drop it.
So later the object should be dropped off also.
Yes, you say, I am the sakshi. I am the light in which this whole thing is seen. Whether it is light, whether it is whatever it is you see in your meditation, just try to pull back and say, I am a sakshi. I am not what I am seeing. What I am seeing is an object. The seer is the subject, and the seer can never be seen. Never be seen. Please keep this in mind. I saw myself in meditation. I saw so many things. That is not possible. You can only claim that you are the Sakshi. That's all. I am the pure Sakshi. It is an actual, it's an actual thought you bring in meditation. I am the Sakshi. That's all. Don't try to make that Sakshi also as an object. Dawn of realization, that's what Chandralekha says. Is that a question, or is it just Chandralekha, are you asking what is the dawn of realization?
Dawni means that after you realize all this, is that the aim of Bhagavad Gita, that you will realize at the end that I am Brahman?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm a nimitta. I'm a nimitta. That is what you taught us today, that we are just a nimitta. No? Everything, all our actions are controlled by the doer, God. So we are just a nimitta.
Yes, that's correct.
Is it correct? Yes.
Yes, that's correct. You see, you keep on saying that I am not the doer of actions, I am the sakshi.
I'm a nimitta will do. I'm a nimitta.
Nimit means you are the instrument.
Yes.
You see, when you take it as you are an instrument of the God, that is also okay.
Okay, so all our actions are controlled by the Lord.
Yes.
Whatever we do are controlled by the Lord, so you become a nimitta.
That's correct. Yes. It is. When you say Lord is controlling all the action, it is Prakriti. Prakriti means it's a nature.
Thank you.
Okay. Very good.
And you also suggested to meditate on the 4 Mahavakyas.
Yeah, that is also a very beautiful way to see meditation. There are so many methods to meditate. If I have taken the 4 Mahavakyas, and I have also taught how to meditate on the 4 Mahavakyas in my meditation sessions in the video, you will see that. So the 4 Mahavakya meditations are extremely advanced meditation. The chart which I gave you, where it says Lakshyartha and Vachyartha for the Jiva, the Lakshyartha and Vachyartha for the Ishvara. If you have understood the chart clearly, you can drop the Vachyartha, the direct meaning, and go for the indirect meaning, which is the Lakshyartha, and then you can meditate on the Mahavakya. Unless and until you understand the chart very clearly, which I presented in the initial stages of the 7th chapter, if you understand that, then you can meditate on the Mahavakya. Consciousness is Brahman. Prajnanam Brahma. Aham Brahma Asmi. Here you should be very clear what that Aham refers to. Aham refers to that pure consciousness only. Aham Brahma Asmi means I am that pure consciousness. Brahman also refers to the pure consciousness. If you can meditate on that and remain in that and be absorbed in that for 10 minutes in a day, fantastic. That is the ultimate in meditation. But it's very, very difficult to achieve what you're trying, but you can try. That is the ultimate. If you can remain in that, see what initially you will be able to remain in that for 1 minute. That 1 minute can become 5 minutes after some time. And then this goes into the subconscious mind and it remains with you forever. Throughout your life, you will always say, I am that pure consciousness. Everything else is just a passing phase. It is just coming and going. Without my intervention, I will still get up tomorrow and I will still do actions. Without my intervention, I don't want to be. You see, without any willpower, the actions will go on. That is what is called as Prakriti. That is what is called as the nature of the 5 elements. My mind will push me into that action. The mind pushing me into action is also Prakriti. Prakriti means nature of the 5 elements. So action I can never stop. That is what we have taught to us before. But wherever I am, actions I can never stop. I can only say I am the witness of these actions, and everything else, whatever is happening in my life is an appearance, is a passing phase. I seem to think that I have control, but really speaking, I have no control. It is controlled by Prakriti. If you can realize that this is Prakriti and I am the Purusha, I am that seer, then you have achieved what Bhagavad Gita wants to teach. You have achieved that. Okay, we have taken 45 minutes for question and answer today. So if you have any questions, you keep it for the next week. You can still ask the questions and put it in the chat board and we'll continue. So next week, we will probably finish chapter 7 and then continue with chapter 8. Thank you and good night to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shekhar. Thank you very much. Have a good week.
Thank you, Santiago.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.